Hello, everybody. Hope you had a nice weekend. Monday was a good session for the market. I guess everybody's saying that it was all due to the Chinese stimulus, but overall, I really don't care what the reason was. I only care about the price action. And the price action today, good, nothing great. Volume was lacking, so I'm not sure why everybody once again is pounding the we've bottom table. The VIX showing no fear. Once again, lower high, lower high, lower high from back here. The Russell 2000, lower high, lower high. And I guess kind of, that's a new high, but you could still see 1, 2 levels of lower high. And on the VIX, you can also see 1, 2 levels of lower high. Going back on the NASDAQ, you can see, we have lower highs here. And like I said, none of this is a big deal. Nothing looks too bad. These indexes are still overall in a trading range. I mean, look at the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, if that's not going nowhere fast, I don't know what is. But overall, while the markets go nowhere and volume is nowhere to be seen, look at the SP 500. How much this thing moved in a year? 2%. Great. We still have a market where there is no fear, and the market traders, the participants, continue to get more and more complacent. I don't know, folks, but if we were trending higher and steadily moving higher in the indexes, while we saw this in the VIX, I'd be okay with it. But as we pull back and have this happen, we have absolutely no fear this summertime. The crowd is very complacent, and I don't see how you build good bottoms off of that. I made mention this weekend here and in Stock Twits how the utility stocks look good. You see what PAM did today. PAM looks like it's trying to break out. I think TGS at one point, yeah, look at that pocket pivot point signal too. So couple of utility stocks and matching that, look at the oils, IEZ, XES. Would have gone long XES, but to me, that's not long enough. I would have needed to see for this to be actionable, which it was, pocket pivot point signal, boom, surge in volume and bop. I would have needed to see XES close above 2262. Came so close, but it didn't. 2243. And even if it would have done that, it would have been up 6%. So there's no way you could have gone larger than 1% in a market like this. That little short-term base with the July and August lows, that's just not long enough. But XES, the oil stocks, they look like that they want to move now. I saw quite a few. And not only that, the metals, the metal stocks too. So you got metal stocks, you got the gold stocks, you got the metal stocks, you got the oil stocks, and you got the utility stocks. That's bullish, guys. It continues to look like there's a rotation, but it's not completely over because I'm still getting some long signals. Let's go to some stocks that I flagged. ABTL, continues to do well post earnings. CTSH continues, to hang in there. MRCY, it's got to actually increase in BOP today with the volume surge post earnings, so that could continue to consolidate. FMS announced a partnership, and that's building out a base there. ATTU was a potential long position, and I really had to think about this a lot. But you know what? This is a pretty big move when we look at an arithmetic chart going back. You can see that anytime it makes those big one-day moves, it just doesn't go anywhere after that. And while this time might be different in this current market environment, where most breakouts are turning into fake outs. I don't want to buy a stock that looks like it's moved that much in one day. That's quite a bit of a move. And when I know it worked here, but then it went nowhere, and look at how choppy it got. So ATTU, great company with some great fundamentals. Earnings are out. Nice looking technical pattern, but it's just too much. However, let's say it keeps on with the max green bop, pulls back on lower volume, produce another pocket pivot point signal. Sure, as long as it's not up over 5% one day. But the bottom line is there's still some nice patterns that are still out there. There's not that many. They're not that great. NYMX, I see that earnings on IBD or FinViz and IBD are supposed to be for 8/11, but it doesn't tell me if it's before the market open or after the market closed. And after a quick little search for the earnings, I couldn't find anything. Zacks doesn't even have anything for NYMX, but an idea is to set a buy stop just above the 284 high a day. And I'm thinking about it, but I don't think this consolidation is long enough. I want to see the 20-day moving average catch up to price. If it can do that, and if it's still basing sideways here and still has the max green bop and is consolidating on low volume, I will absolutely set a buy stop on NYMX for a runner. But if it doesn't, no big deal. But the bottom line is that there aren't a lot of nice patterns out there. The ones that are out there, at least they do exist. ATTU, NYMX, they're not in big stocks though. MRCY, same thing. And stocks like MAN that break out, there's no volume to it. VLO confirming the TSO move. Once again, there's no real pocket pivot point or huge volume to it. So it's kind of just run in the mill. PCMI is the AAI eyeshadow stocks portfolio stock that's breaking out. So that also, but overall, very, very thin. The one new long position I want to take is GoPro. GoPro is producing a pocket pivot point signal as it breaks out of this consolidation pattern. Some people are going to try to tell you this is a cup with handle pattern is. Sure, if you want to call it an improper cup with handle pattern or a cup with handle pattern from a large downtrend, sure, then that's what it is. But as of right now, it's just part of an ascending base or a base on base series. Really, it's more of a base on base, base 1, base 2, base 3. Breaking out the pocket pivot point signal on above average volume. Going to give it some leeway because it's only going to be 1% of my account capital. First cut loss you could either do like right here, 61.57. For me, it's going to be 60.51. And then also right here is my final cut loss, 59.38. Now, normally I go 50-50, but since my first cut loss level's down here, I think what I'm going to do for GoPro, because like I said, in this market, I want to see things work immediately. I'm going to put 75% of my sell stop here at 60.51 and put the other 25% at 59.38. So instead of 50-50, it's 75-25. But GoPro's a new long. And then speculative long position, some quality long position. Not very thin. You can see on the volume surge today, it's still only traded 84,000 shares. So this is a limit order stock only. And once again, I'm not going to mess with those limit order stops. Buy stops, I just don't care. Either I get filled and I get a bad fill or I don't, whatever. It's not going to be much because it's only going to be 0.5% of my account capital. Nice chart pattern. Earnings are out of the way. Solid earnings and sales growth, and there's actually mutual fund growth with this small little stock. Let's see if I can actually pull it up. Let's see if I pull up. Put GSB up. Boom, boom, boom. So as you can see here, good earnings growth. Sales growth really starting to move higher, and you can see even though it's not big, ownership has increased since just 3 quarters ago, and overall, even though it's choppy, it's increased over the past 8 quarters from 17 to 27. Pretty good stock. Also has a dividend, an increase or initialize a dividend, it looks like dividend initialization. So it's a decent quality stock. So it's definitely good enough for me. 0.5% of my capital. First cut loss, actually. I'm not too sure about this one, but I'm pretty sure that no matter what, my final cut loss level is going to be 332. So I bet you I only put one cut loss on the books at 332. If you want to, you could split it up between 338 and then 318. So that is also a possibility. Something else I might do, I'm not sure, but I do actually like that idea better. So let's just say 50% of the sell stop at 338, the other 50% at 318. Some house cleaning items, not really a big deal to me. I only had one intraday sell stop hit. MNST barely cut below here, the 144.29 low a day. So that cut me out of half of what I had remaining. Or actually, it was probably all of what I had. So half of what I had. And then also got some 50% sell signals in blue. Heavy volume closed below the 50-day moving average. I was knocked out of blue the session before. We got knocked out of all of it. XON is closing below the 20-day moving average on heavy volume. That's a 50% sell. LJPC is closing below the 50-day moving average. That's a 50% sell. 100% sell if it closes below the low a day of that day before, 23.20. And then SRNE, 50% sell. Jack is a 100% sell failure. I was already knocked out of it. I think I was knocked out of it back on this day as I raised up my final sell stop to below this low a day. But Jack is now finally a full sell. But overall, I don't know. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look bad. But it does look more bad than it does good. So I continue to think the path of least resistance is lower. But more than likely, it could just keep on being this sideways chop. It's just not a good market, everyone. Pick your battles, keep them small, and eventually we'll get some high-quality big signals. For now, nothing doing.